Hi there. I hope you can hear me. If you can, please type in the chat that you can hear me and let me know that you're here so I can say hello to you. Say something. I see a couple people in the chat already having thumbs up. Thank you for that. Hi, my name is Carla. This is Carla Cash Out Loud. And I thank you so much for being here. It always makes my day so much more special when you keep me company and when you come along for the ride. Hi and welcome. I'm so happy to see you. Can you hear me okay? If you can, please type something in the chat and type something so I can say hello to you. This is my first ever Ask Me Anything. Hi, Jesse. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. God bless you too, honey. Hi, Thaddeus. Hi, Terry. I'm so happy to see you all. Thank you so much. Please forgive me for wearing my glasses, but these are readers and I have a hard time seeing things close up. So in order to see your chats, I need to wear my readers. So I appreciate that greatly. So are you ready to dive in? Are you ready to jump in? If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat and I will be happy to answer them. I have some questions that I received through Instagram as well. Hey, Susie. Hey, beautiful. How are you, darling? It's so nice to see you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It always makes my day so much more special when you keep me company and when you come along for the ride. I said that a little bit earlier, but I want to make sure everyone who's in the chat can hear that again because your presence means so much to me and just your friendship and your love and your support. I will tell you that, hi, Nancy, love your new format. Oh, thank you. And thank you for the color too. I've been told that blue is my color. So I thought I'd wear that tonight. Welcome to my living room. This is where I am tonight. I hope you can see me okay. And I'm loving the new format too. This goes back to a question that I will address further. Hey, Melinda. Thank you, darling. It's so nice to see you. I will answer this more in depth in a minute, but really the format change came about because I am a journalist and I have been in television, radio, newspapers, magazines, and media relations for 30 years of my life, for the past 30 years. And I've been a talk show host and a news anchor on television and radio. My claim to fame was national work for 4 years with Fox News Channel. And I worked out of the New York Bureau and the DC Bureau nationally with Fox News Channel. So at my core and at the heart of things, I am a journalist. So it was a natural transition to go into interviewing people because that's something that I do. It's something I love to do. And I really appreciate that so many people have been willing to open up. I've been surprised that they've opened up as much as they have and that they've been so raw and real in their answers. And that's what this channel is all about. Real people, real life, real stories, real answers, real emotions and real feelings. So, hi, Arena. Oh, you love my lipstick, Susie? Well, actually, I will tell you exactly what I'm wearing tonight. I actually brought my little makeup kit in case I got questions about my makeup. The color that I am wearing tonight is Mocha Pop, and this is by Clinique. It is one of my favorites. It's not a red. It's a little on the brown side, but it is so neutral. It goes with so many things. This is Mocha Pop. That's what I'm wearing tonight. It is an absolute favorite. Would you like to see everything that's on my face? Because I brought my makeup bag if you want to see everything that's on my face. Oh, thank you, Susie. I appreciate that. So I will just kind of go over everything that's on my face as I dig into my bag. The first thing that's on my face is the Clinique Dramatically Different Lotion. And Dramatically Different Lotion. I use that as my moisturizer tonight. And then I also have on, where's that other thing? For my eye cream, I have on the Face Theory AccuWake eye cream. And I will have all of these listed for you in the description box. They're already listed just in case anybody asks that question. Hi, Linda. Oh, Linda. Oh, I have to tell you all about Linda. Linda and I reconnected in the past few years. I babysat Linda's children when I was a teenager, and we lost touch for about 30 years. I love this woman so much. She is absolutely precious to me. She was a friend of mine for many years and remains a close friend to me. And ever since my mother died, she's been a confidant to me. I love you, Linda. Thank you so much. And let's see, Thaddeus, hi, thanks so much. Hi, Kay, and all that glitters. Oh, thank you so much. Hi from London. Oh, one of my favorite cities in the world, London. Yes, indeed. So I'm wearing the Face Theory AccuWake Eye Cream. And then for foundation, I'm actually wearing the Clinique Even Better Refresh, and my shade is Alabaster. And I also have on the Clinique Even Better Clinical, and that's in Alabaster as well. Again, all of these are linked in the description box for you. Let me see where I can put these to the side because my lap is getting a little bit crowded already. So forgive me for that. And then let's see, I'm not wearing powder tonight, but when I do wear powder, I wear the Clinique Invisible Blended Face Powder. And that's this right here, but I'm not wearing, whoops. For some reason, it said my live stream was going to end, and I'm sorry about that, but we're going to keep going. Can you still see me okay? Hey, Leedy, I'm getting to your question in just a second, honey. And Molly, hi, welcome. Thank you for welcoming me back. So this is the powder that I wear. And then for setting spray, I use the Milani Make It Last Original. And sometimes, now this I found recently, sometimes I use the Milani Make It Last with sunscreen SPF 30. So when I'm in the daytime, I'm wearing this one, the Milani Make It Last Original, because it's nighttime. But in the daytime, I wear the one with sunscreen. All right. Okay. Let's see here. And then I've got just a Sephora palette on for my eyes. I'm just wearing one shade, and it is a beautiful palette. I love the Sephora pocket palettes there and the mini palettes. Oh, for my concealer, I'm wearing the Catrice True Skin, and the shade on this one is the Neutral Ivory on that. And all my brushes and things like that I use are listed in the description box because I figure why bore you with that. My primer is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, which I hear is a dupe for the Milk Makeup. And let's see, for blush, I am wearing the e.l.f. Putty Blush in Turks and Caicos. And I am also wearing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Palette. And for a little bit of highlight, I didn't want to wear too much highlight tonight because the lights are bright and I didn't want to be washed out, and I didn't want to beam so that the spaceships in the sky could see me. But I do like a little bit of highlight, and I am wearing the Gerard Cosmetics Star Powder in Grace. I do like the putty blush, Susie. I love it very much. It's very easy to go on. You can blend it with your fingers. I don't know if you can see it. You can blend it with your fingers, or you can use a brush. I tend to do both. I blend it with my fingers, and then I go over it with a brush to make sure that it's well blended. I have all of the colors in the putty blushes, and everything is linked below in the description box. So that covers my makeup. Leedy, since you're here now, I'll go over again what I just said a few minutes ago I'll go ahead and get straight to your question. All right, this comes from Leedy. Says, my question is, you've had some very interesting career paths. Which one was the most rewarding and why? Okay, my career has been spent 30 years in broadcasting, in television, radio. I also did print journalism in magazines and newspapers. I also did behind the scenes media relations for government and for politics. So everything has always been in communications for the past 32 years, to be honest with you. And I have loved every second of it. One thing that is unique about my career path is that very often people are just specialized in one area. They specialize in television or in radio or newspaper or magazines or public relations, media relations, or government, or whatever the case may be. I went and got specialized in all of those areas so that I could always stay employed. The communications broadcasting business is very rocky. It is not for the faint of heart. One thing that I did not know when I went into this and when I chose this career path as a teenager was that, Barbara Walters, Jessica Savage, those women were really the first wave of real on-air female broadcasters. And when I came in the 80s, I was really kind of the second wave. I did not know that when I went into this. Had I known, I might have been a little more trepidatious, but there was never a question in my mind as to whether or not I could do this or whether or not a female could do this. I remember when it was a big deal for females to be covering sports, for females to be covering locker rooms in particular, which I still don't agree with, but I'm old fashioned. What can I say? Hi, Peaches. It's so nice to see you. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here, darling. I really appreciate it. So going back to my career, I didn't know that I won't say I was a trailblazer, but I didn't know that I was early in the wave of female broadcasters. I had no idea. And if anyone had said, well, you can't do this, you're a girl, I'd have been like, excuse me? Say what? What you talking about, Willis? No, that would have never entered my mind. One thing about my parents that was amazing was they always encouraged me to do anything that I wanted to do. And while my mother was not thrilled about my career choice, she and my father both were always my biggest supporters. And I love them dearly for always being my biggest cheerleaders. And so going back to your question, Leedy, as to what was the most rewarding, being a talk show host was the most rewarding because I felt like I touched people on a daily basis. And when I was with Fox News Channel nationally, that's my big claim to fame. That was the highlight of my career, was the 4 years I spent nationally with Fox News Channel in the New York Bureau and in the Washington, D.C. Bureau. And I have to tell you, from a purely selfish level, when I was with Fox, everything was first class airfare, first class hotels, first class food, first class limousines, first class everything. I was treated like a queen. I had my own green room. So from a selfish standpoint, I loved all of that. I had my own hairdresser, my own makeup artist. It was everything you think national TV work is going to be, everything and more. I absolutely loved every second of it. But what I loved the most was I felt like when I gave my opinions, because I was on the conservative side, I was also on the more of a moral angle. I took more of a religious angle about things. And I know that I helped a lot of people feel like they weren't alone. I was never afraid to express my faith in God and my faith in Jesus Christ. And Leedy, I was with Fox in the early 2000s, from 2000 until 2001 to 2005. And I left that because my parents were aging and ailing. And so I came back to stations in Virginia so that I could be close to them and be with them. And at 4:35 in the afternoon on June 3rd, when my father passed away several years ago, because I was here, I was able to be holding his hand when he took his final breaths. And I will never regret that. Do I miss Fox? Did I miss it? Of course I do. Of course I do. That was an amazing thing. How many people get to say they got to do national television work? Not very many, particularly in my industry, because it's gotten so incredibly cramped and crowded, and it's not easy to make it. And I literally got a phone call. I did not have an agent. Oh, Leedy, hi. Thank you so much for seeing that clip of me on the air. That's so sweet of you. I have several clips that maybe one day I'll put on this channel. They're politically charged, so I don't want to trigger anybody or upset anybody, but that was part of my career. That was part of what I was paid to do, was to be a political pundit, to be a talking head, to be a social commentator. So when you give an opinion, of course it's charged. Of course it's emotionally charged. And it's going to be, that's what you're supposed to do. So but I gave that up to be close to my parents so that I could be with them when they needed me, which I was. And then 2 years ago my mother passed away, and I won't say unexpectedly, but the last month of her life was when everything went downhill. She got an infection that turned into sepsis and went into a severe UTI that impacted her kidneys, and that is what killed her, was the sepsis infection. And it was very sad, but the part about it that was a blessing was that it only went on for a month. And she initially went into a physical rehabilitation center, and I honestly thought at that time when she first entered that she would get well. And then we realized quickly that she was not going to get well. And because of COVID, I was not able to be with her when she passed away, because she passed away in a hospital, and I was not able to be there by her side when she passed away. She did not have COVID, but because of COVID, I was not able to be there because they had everything on lockdown with hospitals. But I will tell you an interesting story about that if you're interested. My sleep patterns had been very messed up because I had been on death watch, basically, for my mother, waiting for that phone call to come at any minute that she had passed away. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Peaches. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming in, darling. I really, really do. Thank you all for saying that I was not, that you apologize, that you're sorry that I was not able to be there. It was heartbreaking to me because I was just across town, and if it hadn't been for COVID, I would have been able to be there. But I will tell you that when she was in the rehab center, the physical rehabilitation center, she was on the first floor. So did you ever see pictures of people during that time going to nursing homes or going to rehab centers or hospitals, and they were pressing their hands against the glass with their loved one? I visited my mother at her room every single day, and we did that. We would press our hands against the glass to each other, and it was just as if the glass was not there. Our physical connection and our love for each other transcended that glass. And it had old-fashioned windows that cranked open a little bit, so the nurses would come in and open the windows a little bit and say, "This is so you can hear each other better." Well, that's what they said, but what we would do is actually take our fingers, and we could only get our fingers through. We couldn't get a full hand through. We could get our fingers, but we would take our fingers and we would flitter our fingers back and forth for human contact. So I did get to touch my mother before she passed away, which was wonderful. Thaddeus says, when I was 14 years old, I remember waiting outside Vanity Fair, and it was like 5 or 6 in the morning. It was a Saturday, and you met Ryan Madsen, and the next day you were in the newspaper. Oh, wonderful. Molly says, Carla, I'm sorry about your mother. You've accomplished many good things during your life, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much. Kelly, hi, darling. How are you? It's so nice to see you. So that's basically the story of my mother's death. But I will tell you that even though I was not able to be there, my sleep patterns were all kinds of messed up. I would be awake for hours in the middle of the night and in the middle of the morning. And I was waiting for a phone call to tell me that she had passed in the night. And that Friday morning, I had also I was on leave from work, and I had gotten in the habit of sleeping late because I would often be up until 5 or 6 in the morning. So when I did go to sleep, I'd sleep for several hours later into the morning. And every time I woke up, I would immediately look at the clock to see what time it was. And I woke up this particular morning and I looked at the clock immediately, and it said 8:15. I said, well, wow, this is early for me to be up. And I felt energized. I felt awake. So I said, I'm not going to go back to sleep. I'm going to go ahead and get up and call the hospital in a few minutes and see what's going on and check in on my mother. So I just remember very distinctly that the clock said 8:15 on the dot. So when they did call me about an hour later, and I spoke with the doctor, and he was so kind, he was so sweet. He didn't say, your mother has died. What he said to me was, Mama is gone. Mama is with God. And I know Mama is with God. I know that in my heart. I will tell you, my mother was an amazing born again Christian. I am more sure of that woman's salvation than I am my own. Same with my father. I was more sure of his salvation than I am my own, because they didn't just talk the talk, they walked the walk. And so the doctor told me all of the details surrounding her death. And then he said to me, time of death, 8:15 on the nose. And I said to him, 8:15? And he said, yes, 8:15. That was the exact moment that I had woken up. The exact moment I had woken up, which was an odd time for me to wake up. So I know that was my mother saying goodbye and hello to me at the same time. So, Leedy, did I answer your questions about my career, sweetheart? Linda, your mama, your sweet mama and daddy never doubted your devotion to them. You were such a close family. Miss Vivian was proud of you, even as a teenager. Yes, she was, Linda. She really was. My parents were both incredibly devoted to me. I was the baby, the extreme baby. My parents had both been married before and had children, and then they got married and had me. And they were both old enough to be my parents when I was born. So they doted on me incredibly and gave me the best of everything that they could. And I was very blessed. And all parents make mistakes. Of course, all parents make mistakes. And if you're a parent, you're making mistakes. If I had been a parent, I would make mistakes. But I know that they did the best they could, and they were wonderful parents, and I was incredibly blessed. And I know that they're still watching out for me. Yes, I'm glad I answered your questions, Leedy. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing me to share that story about them. So let me get back to another question. This one comes from Lisa. She says, what is your favorite place in the world? What place on earth just makes you happy? I have a couple of places. Being near trees or water just gives me a feeling like I am home. And believe it or not, my favorite place is close to home. Not very exciting, but it's true. Can't wait for your video, Carla. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that so much. My favorite place on the planet is Ireland. And I am going back this year. My husband and I went 3 years ago. And I'm sure for some of you, this is not a surprise answer. Ireland is my happy place. It's where I feel home. I would move there. I would live there in a heartbeat. Dublin, Ireland, particularly, is just amazing. It's the capital city. It's the largest city in Ireland, but yet the people are so amazing, hospitable and kind and sweet, and they'll talk to you just like they've known you their entire lives. And of course, when you go out in the countryside, that is true as well. So Dublin, Ireland, or particularly Ireland in general, anywhere in Ireland, you can plot me anywhere in Ireland or Northern Ireland, and I will be incredibly happy. And my husband and I were supposed to go back this year. As many of you know, my husband passed away recently. In fact, it is 5 months exactly today that he passed away. That's one reason I wanted to come on tonight. Instead of issuing a regular video, I thought I'd do a live stream tonight because I wanted your company. And I thought, well, it would be nice to not be alone and to have friends with me tonight. And I thought it would be a blessing to have you surrounded with me on this 5-month anniversary of his death. And then in a couple of days, it's his birthday. And then a couple of days after that, it's Valentine's Day. So these are all first for me. Ireland is my happy place. The other happy place for me is on the water. I grew up on the beach. Oh, let me go back. My friends and I are going to Ireland this year, and that is a trip in memory and honor of him. And he will not be with me physically, but he will be with me in spirit. And we're going to make a toast to him, several toasts along the way. I can promise you that. I don't drink beer, but I'm sure that with my friends, there will be lots of Guinness because Guinness was one of his favorites. So I am sure that there will be lots of Guinness involved. I love you too, Susie. Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate that. Are all of you subscribed to my channel? I believe you probably all are. I hope you certainly are. Please subscribe. I am trying very hard to grow the channel, and I'll be honest, it's growing very slowly. So if you would share the channel with others, I would greatly appreciate it. Hi, Diane. It's so nice to see you. Thank you. So that's one of the trips that I have planned coming up this year is going back to Ireland. And I have in a couple of days, I'm going to Florida on the water. The water is also my happy place. I grew up within walking distance to the beach in Virginia. And thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. Um, and I am looking to possibly move back to on the water. So we'll see how that pans out. It's still in the early stages, but we'll see what happens with that. So Ireland and water, and there's lots of water in Ireland. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. Oh, Renee. Okay, very good. Renee, it's wonderful to see you. Um, Leedy, you're so funny. The water is your happy place too, Melinda. Yeah, I think it is for a lot of people. Now, I grew up summering in the mountains with my family because we lived by the water, we lived by the beach. So we would summer in the mountains, and that was their happy place. And so I love the mountains too. Don't get me wrong. I love both mountains and beach. Makes me very happy. Now, I am obviously very pale. I have to sit under an umbrella. I went to Bermuda in October, and I did visit the beaches of Bermuda, but I was under an umbrella and a big floppy hat and lots of sunscreen the whole time because I don't brown, I don't tan, I turn bright red, like the color of my nail polish, and it doesn't fade into a tan. It is a burn, and it is a serious burn. And if I get burned too much, I get sun poisoning. So we don't want that to happen. But I do enjoy being by the water, particularly the views. I don't have to be in the water. I don't have to be laying on a beach. I just like to view the water and hear it and smell it because it's so peaceful. Oh, thank you, Melinda. 19 watching, and click that thumbs up button. Thank you so much, Melinda. Yes, that does indeed help my channel a lot. And I thank all of you for helping the channel along the way. Now, Melinda was the first to issue a question, and it was a very interesting one. It was charged. It was charged with emotion. Melinda asked, because I am a recent widow, would I date again? And would I use an online dating service? Well, I could give you some dramatic answers, and maybe I will. But yes, I would date again. I would consider dating again. I don't see why I shouldn't. I don't see why I wouldn't. Woodrow was my true companion, and he was my best friend. Many of you may have heard me refer to him as Big Daddy on this channel. I did that. I started doing that in my broadcasting career when people would ask about my husband. And I did that because he was a politician and I wanted to protect his name publicly. I did not want people to figure out easily who he was. I like my privacy, and I like to stay safe, and I like to keep as anonymous as possible. So I would call him Big Daddy on the air. And then when I started the YouTube channel, I started calling him Big Daddy here as well. So Big Daddy, whose real name was Woodrow, or people also called him Woody. Now, where was I going with this? Anyway, I lost. Oh, would I date again? He was my true companion, and it will be hard for anyone to measure up to him. We had so much in common, everything from being great traveling partners. For example, when we went to Ireland, we went for a month, and we were constantly together 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for that month. And we were in a hotel room, or we were touring and walking around and doing the tourist stuff and exploring the cities and the towns when we weren't in the hotel room. So we were together 24/7. And I said to him at one point, about 3 weeks in, I said, well, if we ever questioned our compatibility, we have been together 24/7 for the last 3.5 weeks, and we haven't gotten into a tiff once. So I think we're pretty compatible, and we were indeed. And we had so much in common, and we shared so many values and so many beliefs and so many standards and things like that. So it's going to be hard for someone to measure up to him. But yes, I would date again. Would I use an online dating service? Yeesh, that's a hard one for me to answer. I dread the idea of it, Melinda. I really do. I dread the idea of it. I think that it's just such a meat market. And friends of mine have shown me their experiences online and told me their experiences, and they've just been horrific. So I dread that. That is not something I'm looking forward to. But I also realize in this day and age, because I haven't dated in 24 years. 24 years I haven't dated, and things have changed in 24 years, and I guess I need to change with them. I also live in a small rural area where there aren't a lot of people to meet. I already know everybody. And so if I'm going to meet someone, I have to have a means of doing that. So reluctantly, I'm going to say I would consider dating online. I would consider it. I'm not saying I would do it, but I would consider it. And I am curious just to see what's out there. If it's a bunch of just, trolls and ogres that look like they just crawled out from underneath a bridge. Not that I'm judging on appearances. You all know me. You know I don't judge on appearances, and you know that I've been called ugly so many times myself that I don't judge people by that. I judge by the personality. Big Daddy was indeed just that. He was a big man. He was a huge man. He weighed about 350 pounds. He was not the most handsome man in the world, but he was to me because of his heart. So I'm not looking for a Robert Redford or, which I'm sorry, I consider Robert Redford hot. I think he's aged extremely well. I think he has done extremely well. I think he looks better as he's aged. Sam Elliott, I think he looks better. I like older men. So I'm 55 years old, and I like him a little old. And I love the distinguished look of some crow's feet and things like that. And so I'm not looking for a sex symbol. I'm just looking for someone who's compatible and someone who shares similar values and principles and those core values with me. Let me catch up on your chat. Melinda says she's happy to hear that. It's such a struggle if divorced or widowed. Yes, I never imagined that I would be widowed, especially not at age 54. I'm now 55, but I was 54 when it happened. I realize that's not a spring chicken, but that's also a relatively young widow at the same time. When you think of a widow, you think of someone in their 70s, 80s, and beyond. And, but I still have a lot of life left. I still have a lot of living to do. So yes, I would consider dating again, just like I'm considering traveling, just like I'm considering moving. I would consider doing all of those things I would consider a career change. I would consider all of those things that I would have considered when I was 30, because in my head, I kind of still am. In my heart, now the body, not so much, both size wise and stamina wise. But I would definitely consider new adventures at this stage in my life. Why not? Melinda says she 100% agrees. She would love to meet someone through friends. Leedy, I love my girlfriend saying when it comes to dating after the loss of their hubby, they would enjoy them. I'm not employing one. Yeah. Exactly. So do any of you have questions? We're not going to go real long tonight. Do any of you have questions? Oh, I've been asked about this necklace. Can you see this? This is an angel wing, and it has a birthstone as well. This is an angel wing representing my husband, and this is his birthstone, which is the amethyst, which is February. The beautiful part about that is that purple was his favorite color. So the amethyst there not only represents his birthstone, his birthday is this weekend. It'll be my first birthday of his without him. So I have lots of firsts this week. Today is 5 months since he passed away. His birthday is Sunday, and then it's Valentine's Day. So I have 3 firsts back to back to back to back to back. And this is a stainless steel and sterling silver necklace that so far I haven't taken off since I got it. Oh, thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. So in the chat, do you have any questions for me? Hey, Trish. Hey, darling. It's so nice to see you. Any questions? I think I got all the questions off of Instagram and all of the questions off of the community tab. Let me ask you a question. And the reason I wanted to do this tonight, I told you, was because it is the 5-month anniversary of his passing, and I didn't want to be alone tonight. But I also have been thinking about doing this once a month, where I come on and you ask me questions and the tables get turned, because normally I'm the one going out interviewing people. And I thought it would be interesting if you interviewed me this time. So what do you think about that idea? Rini, yes, I do voiceovers. I have done many commercials throughout my career, and I do indeed do voiceover work. How did I meet Big Daddy? Melinda asked. Oh, thank you, Kay, and all that glitters. You're a lovely lady yourself. Melinda asked, how did I meet Big Daddy? I was in broadcasting, and I was a news anchor at the time, and I was asked to go out and cover a story, and he was one of the people that I had to interview. So I met him at his office and interviewed him, and his friends saw a love connection. I did not see a love connection, and he did not see a love connection right away. In fact, his exact words to me years later were, I thought you were weird. Well, I am weird. I don't hide my weird. I don't hide my crazy. I don't hide any of that. And he knew that from day one. So it gets a little bit more interesting. His friends started coming to me saying, Woodrow wants to go out with you some kind of bad. His friends started going to him and saying, that Carla wants to go out with you some kind of bad. Neither was true. Neither one of us had expressed an interest in either one. And his friends sent us up with lunch, and they were all present. So we were set up over lunch, and we decided we kind of liked each other. Our first date was on July 3rd. We went to dinner, and we went to a movie, and we went and saw Sleepless in Seattle. That tells you how long ago it was, because Sleepless in Seattle was playing in the theaters. And we went to dinner in that movie. And then the next day was July 4th, and we went to a July 4th picnic, and the rest was history. I was the first to say, I love you, which typically in my relationships I am, but I knew. Now, something that's also interesting is we broke up 6 months later. There was a misunderstanding that we had, and we broke up, and we tried to get back together. I just couldn't get over the whole breaking up to begin with thing. And we remained friends. So we dated for 6 months. We didn't date for 6 years. We reconnected, dated for 6 months again, and got married. So in a nutshell, that's our story right there. Oh, no, that's not me, Rini, but thank you so much. I have done regional, state, and local commercials, but I've not done any national commercials. But if anyone's watching and wants to offer me one, I'd be happy to do it. I can put on my commercial voice, or I can put on an accent if anybody wants me to. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Any other questions? And is this something, again, that you would like to see me do once a month? Are you curious to have more live shows? Is there a particular topic you would like me to address, or would you like to just do the Ask Me Anything? Thaddeus, thank you so much, darling. I appreciate you very, very much. Can you get a birthday shout out? Absolutely. Happy birthday to Thaddeus. Everyone wish Thaddeus a happy birthday. Thaddeus, a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Thaddeus. You are a great supporter, and I appreciate you very, very much. Nancy, Molly, Diane, and Kelly all say they would love once a month. Okay, once a month we shall do. And let's get those happy birthdays going for Thaddeus. Yay, happy birthday. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Kelly. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Oh, Valentine's Day. Any Valentine's Day plans? Happy Valentine's Day early. Happy Valentine's Day to you early as well. No, I don't have any plans. I may go see a friend of mine, one of my girlfriends. I'm okay being alone on Valentine's Day. This will be my first Valentine's Day alone in 24 years. And Big Daddy was always so generous with me. He always made sure that I had 2 or 3 dozen roses. Leedy, you go ahead and feed your husband. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you, darling. I love you. Thank you, Leedy. No plans for Valentine's Day. Like I said, I may go see a friend. She lives near DC, and I'm more on the southern end of the state. And so I may go see a friend. I may go see a friend in Richmond, or I may just spend it alone and take myself out to dinner. Or I may have a lean cuisine. You never know. Um, Either way, I'll be fine. But Big Daddy was always so generous to me. He would always send 2 or 3 dozen roses, yellow ones, because yellow were my favorite. And I didn't particularly care for red roses. He loved purple and peach roses, also called a peace rose at times. And he would send me yellow roses, or he would send me a rainbow of roses in that were different colors all mixed in together. And he always made sure that they were sent to my office or sent to my workplace, because he said, I know the deal with Valentine's Day. Girls want them sent to their workplace so all the other women can see them. Is he right, ladies, or is he right? He was right. He was right. He said they don't count. He said it's like a tree in the forest. If a tree falls in the forest and no one hears or sees it, did it really fall? He said if you get Valentine's Day flowers and no one sees them, do they really count? Absolutely. Right, Diane? Right, Diane? Absolutely. Anne, Pasha Ann asked, was your husband sick or did he pass suddenly? Sweetheart, he passed suddenly. He had not been sick. Now, he and I did have COVID back in June, and we were both experiencing effects of long COVID, but he did not have cancer or any chronic illness or acute illness of any kind. He had not at all said anything about not feeling well. I had worked late that night, and he was upstairs. I was downstairs in our home, and we were making a grocery list. We were talking through the stairs, and we were making a grocery list. How mundane is that? I mean, there was no inclination that anything was wrong at all. And a few minutes later, I heard, Carla, help me. And I went upstairs, and there he was sitting. And I've never seen a shade of white on a person like that. And I've never seen a look of fear on a person like that. And he just kept saying, help me, I can't breathe, I can't move. Help me, I can't breathe, I can't move. And it was a massive heart attack in progress. I called 911 immediately. They came and worked on him for several hours. And then when they took him to the hospital, the plan was to stabilize him and move him to an intense cardiac unit at another hospital, but that never happened. They worked on him for several hours in the hospital, and they did absolutely everything that they could. I know without question that they did everything they could. And I sat in my kitchen when the paramedics came upstairs. I got out of their way. And at one point I peeked up the stairwell, and I saw they had him down on the ground, on the floor, and they were doing CPR. And I heard them say, we got a pulse, we got a pulse. And at that point, I knew it was really bad. I knew it was bad, because if they were getting a pulse, that meant they didn't have one at one point. So I went into my kitchen and I prayed. I am a person of faith, and I prayed. I did not pray, Lord, save him. What I prayed was, God, help him. And what that meant was, help him be well if that's your will, that he be well. But also help him to you if that is your will, that he go home. Help him have an easy passing. Whatever this is, if it's the road to wellness, help that be easy. And if it's the road home, help that be easy and peaceful as well. So I just prayed for the Lord to help him. I had a chaplain by my side for the entire 5 hours that he was in the emergency room. And very early that morning on September 9th, 5 months ago today, he passed away. And I got in my car and I came home, and I was alone. And thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. And thank you, Melinda. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Terry. Thank you just to all of you. Thank you, Melinda. Thaddeus, thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Thank you, Diane. And I texted my best friend that he was gone, and she's an hour away. And she said, I'm on my way. And I said, don't come now. It's so early in the morning. Don't come now. Thank you, Trish. Hugs and love to you too, darling. I said, don't come now. Give it a few hours, wake up, and then come on. And she said, no, I'm already on the interstate. I'm on my way now. So within an hour, I had someone here, and all of my friends, all of my female friends gathered in a posse. And for 2 weeks, I didn't spend a single hour alone. They took shifts taking care of me. They took shifts helping me arrange the funeral, which was very elaborate. They took shifts. 500 people came to this man's funeral. Can you believe that? We had to find a space big enough to hold all the people who came to this man's funeral. And if there hadn't been other events going on that day, I think it actually would have been more than that. But anyway, they surrounded me with love. They surrounded me with their presence, and they took shifts 24 hours a day to make sure that I was not alone. And so I was extremely blessed in that. Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Prayers and blessings to you as well. And thank you, Kay. I appreciate that, darling. Repulsa Impas. Yes. May he rest in peace. And I know that he is. I know that God has him. He was a man of faith. He wore his faith not on his sleeve, but in his heart. He was quiet about it. It was something that was very private and very personal to him. He walked the walk. He did not talk the talk. I can assure you of that. So are there any more questions that you have for me tonight? Again, thanks so much to all of you who have tuned in. Thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share this video. Tell people about this channel. I'm trying very hard to grow so that I can make the channel better for you. I just recently invested in some new equipment that's going to make the interviews more clear and easier to understand and take out some of the background noise. So I'm trying very hard to make these as good and as pleasant to watch as possible. Are there questions you would like me to ask in interviews? Are there questions you would like me to ask the subjects that, yes, Nancy, we will be together again. Thank you, sweetheart, for that. Are there questions you would like me to ask the subjects that I interview? If so, I will post that in my community tab, and you can let me know, or you can send me a message on Instagram. My Instagram handle and my Facebook handle are all the same. Carla Cash Out Loud. Carla Cash Out Loud, all one word, all lowercase. So with that, we've been on for 47 minutes, and I didn't want to go longer than an hour. I am so appreciative to all of you. I hope you know how much I love and appreciate you. It does indeed make my day so much more better when you join me. So much more better? No, that was horrible grammar. It does indeed make my day so much more special, and it makes my day better when you keep me company and when you come along with me for the ride. And I appreciate on this 5-month anniversary of my husband's death, with his birthday coming up in a couple of days, and then Valentine's Day, your company has meant more to me tonight than I can ever express, because I have not felt alone, because I had all of you. And I had my hankies handy in case I cried, which I really didn't. And thank you for that. So be well to you too, Rini. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you for joining. I hope you'll share this video. Thumbs up. And I love you. So we're going to just leave it at that. Next Thursday, we'll have a video coming up. I do post every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I hope that you will subscribe. And thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Diane. Good night, everyone. I love you dearly. Take care. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Mwah. Much love to you. Bye-bye. Good night.